Well, here's what we got going on today. We've got a problem with the brake pedal and the payloader that's sticking, so we can't seem to get ahead of that with penetrating fluid or anything like that. So we gotta get into that. We've got to pull the pin out of the brake pedal. We got to drill the hole out and put an oversized pin in it just to keep it from the pedal from sticking. I'm actually having the brake stay on a little bit on this front axle, and this front axle's getting hot. So we're probably halfway through our remodeling project here, and the shop is in a complete mess here, but once we get organized, things ought to square themselves up a little bit. We ended up getting the compressors moved up top. I say compressors, I'm meaning mainly the tanks are up there with the compressor. So that's up and out of the way, and then we've got our overhead storage to put pallets and whatever on. It's not as deep as that one. That one's 10 feet deep. This one's only 4 foot. So we're gonna actually run around the perimeter of the building with some black iron. Originally I put in 1-inch PVC around the whole shop, and that's a no-no. So we've got to take that out, and then eventually we're going to replumb the shop with air lines. So I've got just a hose running off of the filter on that second tank, but things are going to be a lot better with that up there. So let's get onto this payloader here. We've got to pull the floor mat out, take the brake pedal assembly all out. Oh, I almost forgot. I've got to have my face covered here. It's mandatory in New York State now, Friday, April 17th, that we've got to have a mask on. So being that I'm talking to all you guys now, you know, we're in a large group here, so I got to have the mask on. Maybe I should clean this lens off. I might have, yeah. As silly as it sounds, but that's what we're dealing with here. So let's get started on this thing here. All right. It's a little dirty in here. I have to get the vacuum cleaner out. All right, so we ended up taking the whole brake pedal assembly right out of the loader. I couldn't get the screws out that held the left-hand pedal into the brake valve, so I had to take the whole brake valve and everything, lift that up out of the floor. So we'll go over to the bench here in a second. We got to vacuum this out again, and I'll show you that this whole pedal assembly looks like here. All right, so I've got the pedal assembly kind of taken apart here on the bench. Now, this, which one is that? This one here was the right pedal, and this is all rotted out here. And then this just goes on here like this. This is actually, I gotta take this bolt out of this. But everything kind of went south in a hurry here. So this is gonna go on here like that. Yeah. So this is going to go on here like that. This is your right side pedal. And then the left side pedal, that ended up breaking when I took the pin out. Now the pin on this side was all froze up, and every once in a while the damn pedal would stick down. So here's our brake valve assembly here. This is what pushes down on the actual brake valve. And then when I went to take this pin out, the damn pedal, it ended up breaking. So this corner was kind of broke out of it anyways. That went on there, something like that there. And what had happened was this pin, this pin gets corroded from being down in the floor. It's kind of like a fuel pedal on a truck. Brake pedal assembly as well too. But that pin got stiff in there, and it got corroded enough to where it didn't want to move and return itself, so it would put a little bit of pressure on this brake valve when it was actually leaving the brakes slightly applied on the front axle. So my idea was to get this pin out, clean it all up with a little DA sander, ream these holes out a little bit just to get some of the rust and build up, because you've got a metal pin with an aluminum base and an aluminum pedal, and everything kind of corrodes itself all together. So this went on here like that, so that gives you 2 pedals, one for your left foot, and then if you want to use your right foot you can. So we've got to take these bolts out here, this one and this one, and then we'll be able to put the new pedal on there. So I ended up having to get 2 new pedals. This one was the left hand side's got the brake switch and everything on it, or the brake lights, and that one was $828, and the one on the right was $383. So just shy of $1,200, I guess it was $1,220 for these 2 pedals. So we're gonna clean the rest of this stuff up here, get everything all bolted together, and get it back in the loader. Alright, so we got the pedal assembly all together. I've got the left-hand brake pedal, which that one hooks directly to the valve body for the brakes itself, and then the right one, of course. And you can see this one's got quite a bit more meat to it than the rotted out version here. So frickin' aluminum, that rots out faster than metal does when it's against metal in a condition like it's in here. So let's go ahead and get this in there. I do have one stud on the floor that's broke off that I forgot about. I got to dig that out, and then we can set this in here. I ended up getting that frickin' bolt out. It's one of them frickin' set in like rivet style nuts, and I had welded on it so many times that it ended up pulling the top part of the rivet style nut off, and I was able to pound it down through the floor. So we're just gonna put a nut on the bottom of the bolt there is all, and we can get this pedal assembly in. Okay. Alright, that's kind of setting in place there. Now what we're going to do is hook up the fittings that go on that brake valve on the other side before I put the bolts down through the floor. Well, we got the valve body all hooked up, all the lines are on there. Now we're going to finish bolting the pedals down to the floor. Now once we get the pedals bolted down to the floor, we can start this out, make sure the brakes are working the way they're supposed to, and get the floor mat in there and roll this on out of the shop. So we've got these little, what the heck are they, 6mm, 8mm bolts that are going to go in, and then we got that one over there we're going to have to put a nut on. Okay, so we got the pedals in there, floor mats all in. Now we can roll this outside and put the bucket on it. And we've got to clean up the mess of oil here on the floor. And we got to pull the next thing in here. While I was out getting these parts, I ended up stopping and getting a transfer pump for the fertilizer truck here, and transfer pump for a fuel tank. So we'll run over and look at that quick here, and then we'll roll into the next bit of work that we've got left to do here for today. Alright, we're pulling liners out of this 404 Deere engine that's in this 4620. We're doing it without a puller. We're lifting them out with a forklift here. Tap on the clevis. Can I put a little more force on it maybe?
Oh yeah, you're ready to lock.
Don't put your face above it. Whack on the bolt. Don't move that car out there, way, so you can get onto that bucket. I'll put a little more force. Well, that's bending her. What about whacking on the top of the sleeve? Well, I think you better get the tool for it. You're gonna break something or you're gonna get that thing in your face.